Beautiful. Look at that. Money.
Nothing complicated about cooking a prime rib. You just gotta cook it to the right temperature. Honestly, don't be intimidated. You can do this.
Good afternoon. This is Ashley from the Carnivore Brothers. Ever since I went to Austin, Texas, and we did the Camp Carnivore, if you haven't seen that video, you have to check that one out. I've had several people asking for my prime rib instructions and recipe. There's not much to it. It's super simple, so I thought I'd show you guys how to do it. If you're ever making a prime rib, the main thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about cooking it to temperature. If you like medium rare, which is where we're going for it, that's gonna be the easiest way to prepare it. Putting it all together is not that bad. It's just intimidating because it's a big piece of meat, and I think a lot of people don't want to ruin a big piece of meat. But this is a beautiful ribeye that I got on sale. I'm blessed to live in Texas. Don't be jealous, but this whole thing right here was only $48. It's hard to believe, I know, but fantastic deal. So I can't refuse when it's on a sale price like that. I think it was $5.87 a pound. Can't hardly beat that. So when that happens, I buy my prime rib. I usually vacuum seal. I'll put a few in the freezer ready to go for the next time I need it. So here we go. This is a bone-in prime rib, and there's a couple ways you can do this. In advance, you can cut the bones right off, which I'm going to show you how to do. You can leave them on there. It's fine, and after it cooks. But generally, when it's a hot piece of meat, it's cooked already, it's a little trickier to get the bones out. To me, not trickier, it's just hard to hold and manage and not get too hot on your hand, burn your hands, things like that. So I prefer to get it pretty much almost cut off to where all I've got to do at the end of the cook is just do one quick little slice and the bones pop right off. And this is what's called a standing rib roast, and that's what I'm going to show you today. We'll take that off, we'll trim this all up, and it'll be delicious. So here we go. Notice the bones on this side of the rib loin, they're a little bit smaller. And what I want to do is obviously I want to try and trim these bones out and try and get as close to the bones as possible. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to make sure you have a good sharp knife. This is one I use that's actually serrated, a good sharp knife. It doesn't have to be serrated. I just happen to use this one. It's one of my Cutco knives, which I definitely love. But I'm going to start it out right in here like this just to get around this bone and make sure I know where the bone is. And then I'm going to flip it over a little bit, and I want to come right along the tops of those ribs. And I start just nice and slow, make sure I get as close to those rib bones as I can. And then as I go down, you notice there's a natural curve here, natural curve down the bone. So I'm going to try and just guide my knife slowly and make sure I just get kind of as close to that bone, staying as close as I can, almost all the way through. And with a good sharp knife, you can just kind of do this, kind of pressing the meat back a little bit with your fingers, and then just taking the top of the knife and just trimming around the edges of the bone like that. It's not super difficult. This takes a little time. This might be the toughest part of preparing a prime rib. Now, a lot of the butchers will actually prepare this for you, and they'll actually cut the bone off like this, and they'll tie it back on in the. If you want to tell them that you're doing a prime rib, a lot of times they'll do it for you, and it's not. That makes it real simple too at the end when you don't have it. So when you get here closer to the end, I'm going to leave just a little bit of meat attached right there. But this way I can go in here, I can season the inside of the rib roast as well. Get all the sides seasoned. Now, carnivores, we need our fat. We like our fat, so we can leave this on. If you don't want to leave as much fat on, you can go ahead and trim this off. Take that off just for a little cleaner presentation. I'm leaving it on today because we want to eat our fat. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to leave that on. So that's it. That's all I do for the preparation. And you can see here that bones are almost ready to come off. After it's cooked, I'm just going to take the knife, whoop, like that, and the rib bones will be separated from the actual prime rib, and I'll show you what that looks like later. But that's it. Now it's time for seasoning. All right, quick wash of the hands. And if y'all have watched my brisket videos, you've seen me use the Holy Cow recipe before. I love this one because there's no sugar in it. It's very clean. It's just salt, spice, dehydrated garlic, and pepper. That's about it. And there's nothing else in here. So I like this from Meat Church, or his Holy Cow beef rub. that works great. Or of course, if you want to just do salt, you can use a good Redmond's kosher salt like that. I'm actually doing 2 prime ribs. I got family in town right now. We're going to do one with just salt, and we're going to do one with the Holy Cow rub on there. We're going to have both. So whatever option that folks want is going to be available to them. So you can definitely trim this up a little bit. I'm simple. I keep it simple. 1, we want our fats, and 2, it's just easier. It's just quicker and easier. Why go? I mean, if you're going for a competition with a prime rib, then you're next level anyway. You're gonna want to trim it up, making sure it's perfect for the presentation, all that. I'm not worried about it. I'm just making sure it's seasoned. I'm gonna make sure it's cooked right, and I'm sure it tastes good. That's what I'm after. All right, pat that on a little bit. But this is why I do this. I want to season all sides here. Let's keep some of that seasoning on here. Now, the reason why you can season this so liberally, no big deal at all, is because think about the way that we're going to eat this here once we get it. We're not eating it with all that seasoning on one bite. We're going to slice it right here. So really the seasoning is just around the outside of the edge there. So just season it all the way around pretty good. And yeah, this adds good flavor. All sides, hit it. Go. All right, that's as simple as I go. That's about what I do, simply that. I'm gonna throw that on to the smoker here in just a second. Only other thing you could add, which I'm going to this time because I think that's what my family's gonna like, I'm gonna add some extra garlic, granulated garlic to it, sprinkle that around as well. Make sure I have some of that on there. That's it, pretty simple. Quick cleanup, I'm back for round 2. This is the second prime rib we're gonna be doing. And really this was just a whole rib roast, but I wanted to cut in 2 for 2 reasons. 1, it's gonna cook a little bit faster, and I'm gonna put it on the, I'm gonna do one, like I said before, just with the salt, and the other one with that Holy Cow rub on it. So same thing, just going down the bones. This one is a 1, 2, 3, a little bit shorter, but pretty close to the same size. So on my smoker, because I've smoked enough on it, I know there's one side where it's above the heat source that's a little hotter than the other sides. And so I'm gonna put the smaller one on the cooler side of the smoker, slightly cooler, not significantly. They actually cook very well the same way. And then the other one is, the other one's a little hotter, or a little bit bigger, so we'll put it on the hotter side. Okay. Just again, peel away a little bit. Go right down that bone. Try not to lose any of that amazing meat. And see how I'm just kind of pressing it with my fingers like that? I get right there to the end. You can feel it loosen up, and it's almost just about to fall off. Real flimsy, but I'm gonna keep it on there. It just allows me to get it seasoned up. Quick rinse of the hand. And then let's get these things salted. I'm gonna salt these because I'm planning on eating these the bone side as well. But that's the inside. This is the Redmond's real salt. Forgot to show that. Boom, Redmond's real salt. This is the kosher. I like the kosher salt for big cuts of meat like this. It tends to have a little bit bigger chunks of salt. And again, this is not too much salt for a big, huge cut like this. It's just fine. I'm gonna very liberally cover this on all sides. Good pat it in versus rubbing it in. And the reason I'm using my other hand here is just to shield from the little salt going all over the floor, because that's always a fun part of the cleanup too. All right, last but not least. Okay, again, keep it simple. No reason to overcomplicate things. Now some will want to maybe tie that together with some butcher twine. Again, I'm not going for fancy, I'm going for taste. Just as long as it tastes good is what I want. The other thing, if you watch our Camp Carnivore video, which again, you should check it out if you haven't, Brett from Who's Your Carnivore, actually, we went in and Frenched these bones and made it look real pretty as far as the presentation. But we'll save that for another video. This one's simple. Prime rib. Nothing complicated about cooking a prime rib. You just gotta cook it to the right temperature. Honestly, don't be intimidated. You can do this. Let's take it out to the smoker. We're gonna throw it on. I'm gonna show you what the next phase is. And then again, simple. We just gotta wait for it to cook. All right, here we are. Let's get this going right here. Now, as you can see, I've already put the other one on. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna put, that's the larger one, I'm gonna put that on the hotter side of the smoker. And this one, let's see, I've already got this probed on the other one. I'm gonna stick my probe. I want it to go right into the center, right into the center of the meat there. So I'm gonna throw this all the way in there, shove that in good right till it's about, that's probably about the center right there. All right, throw that on there. It is that simple. Throw it on there, close that, and let the smoking do its magic. All right, super simple. Got this set at 250 degrees. We're probably gonna go about 2.5 hours. I'll keep you posted on how long it is. It's an 8-pound rib roast here and a 9.5 pound rib roast over there. We'll let you know how far they go. I expect them to be done about the same time, but I will keep you posted on that and show you. That's it for now. One important reminder, don't forget to make sure you have fuel for your smoker. I almost left the house letting this get a little too low, so I gotta make sure I fill that up. I use the gourmet blend from Traeger. It's a blend of the maple, hickory, and cherry wood, and they just have that in pellets. I get this at Costco. It's $19.99 for a 33-pound bag. That's what I use. All right, the perfect temperature we're looking for is 123 degrees. That's what we're looking for. And we see the probe is at 123 degrees. That's when I want to pull it off. All right, so we're good. This is beautiful. I'm gonna pull out the probe. And then here we are. This is our prime rib ready to go. We're gonna now let it rest. It's 123 degrees, but we're gonna let it rest. Good 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you got. I'm gonna wrap it in foil. We're just gonna let it rest, and it'll continue cooking. It'll get up to about 130 degrees by the time we're done and be ready to carve. All right, we've let it rest 30 minutes at least. Wrapped it in foil. Should be good to go now. We're gonna cut into that beauty and see, this is our one only salt. No other seasoning, we just did it full carnivore, just salt. If you remember, we left the bones on, so I've almost got the bones off, so I made it real easy that we'll just be able to take this down right here. Let's go right here, disconnect the bones. Get this up. There we go. And then let's see what this beauty looks like. Here we go. We're just gonna slice it right down the middle. You can feel it. Feel a little bit of jiggle. What do we think? Beautiful. Look at that. Money.
Absolutely delicious.
Oh
Best
yeah.
of it.
Best you've ever had, prime rib.
Shrimp, what a carnivore meal. This is great. Wow.
Carnivore sister, what do you think?
Everything I want at night.
Yeah.
Every night, really. Look at that fat hip cap. I'm so excited to get into that.
Yeah. All right, Gabe, who also helped as a cameraman. Thank you for your help. Good stuff. And my other filmer, my camera person on several videos. How's yours?
Good.
Oh.